All right.
Hi, James.
Hello.
It's Nettlin.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, actually.
So,
Wondering where all the rest of our members are, but
yeah, right now we have Ramona and yourself.
I
So
saw that. I
yeah.
saw that. Yeah. So, well, we'll just hang out and assume they get here.
Okay.
Yeah, you're leaving. Whoa. They're going on. Have fun, Cody. See you later. See you. Oh, this man is.
AM in 35 seconds.
Pat had the wrong link, so I just sent her the link to the meeting today. So she should be logging on soon.
So if we, oh, here's our chair. Here's our chair.
Say hello. Can you see him?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You wanna just-
Virtual student. Want to go for a swim at 10:30 a.m. this morning or 11 a.m. 10:01
Hi,
a.m.
Pat.
50 seconds.
Hi there. It took me a while to figure out how to get in because the link I gave said we're waiting for the host. And it went on for about 10 minutes. And so then I tried your website and it worked.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I wonder if Katie might be having the same issue.
Yeah, I think just a suggestion, if you could, Nedlin, maybe the morning of, you just send everybody the Zoom link one more time.
Okay.
And that way you don't have to look at it because I look for it.
I will do that.
Yeah. So we're waiting for one more person.
We are waiting on Katie and Cheryl. I don't see Cheryl in the room.
Okay.
Maybe I should text Katie. She's on the mainland, but she's at a fixed location, so I'll send her a quick text.
Messages. 1 minute ago.
Just in the spirit of full disclosure, with regard to sunshine law, I have 2 painters in my kitchen, painting kitchen cabinets, so I'm not alone.
Yeah, good disclosure.
Switcher. Mail. Act full. Act mail. Active. Full. Act mail. Full. Messages. Active. Conversations. Conversations. Katie. My message. My message. My message. Text field. Message. Text field. Cat field. Cat field. Bell. Bell. D. A. A. S. S. W. Space. Space. Please. C. Showing. C. N. N. C. Showing. C.
Chair, if you wanted to start the meeting, you could do so. You do have quorum.
Okay, thank you. I think I'll deal with the housekeeping issues first. This meeting of the statewide voters with special needs advisory committee is called to order. It's around 10:05 a.m. on July 1, 2022. The meeting is being conducted by video conference and telephone. Committee members, please keep your cameras on for the duration of the meeting. We will now take a roll call. So you take care of that for us,
Yes.
Nadine and Nadeline?
If I may, hi, this is Reese. Again, thank you, Chair, for the reminder about the cameras. And I also did want to, for the record, state that under the HRS, the Hawaii Revised Statutes, including sections 92-3.5 and 92-3.7, requires members of the board to be connected to the public by both visual and audio means. And these statutes are enforced by the Office of Information Practices. And if you have any questions, they do have attorneys on call every day and maybe consulted about any issues that you may have, in addition to any questions you may have with me. Okay, I just wanted to state that for the record. And if we do need to take any executive session break at any time, you can just have a call for a motion. I don't know if we have the quorum today to do that, but it appears we can still go forward with the regular. We need 4 to have a executive session, but we just need 3 for other quorum and for voting purposes. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Reese.
Thank
So
you.
I'll proceed with the roll call, Chair.
Yes,
Ramoda
please.
Anand. James Gashel,
Here,
Catherine Kime, Patricia Morrissey,
Here,
Cheryl Nelson. Okay, Chair, you have quorum.
okay, thank you very much. Okay, some more housekeeping pursuant to HRS 92-3-5, you are required to disclose if anyone is present with you for this meeting. committee members. Is anyone with you? I have painter. Okay,
Gashel, another person, Virgil Stinnett, is in and out of the room, not attending to the meeting, but may pass through the room occasionally.
okay. And Omoto said, yes, we now know everybody who has bodies in addition to themselves are part of the environment. Additionally, pursuant to HRS 92-3-7, we will be meeting remotely using interactive conference technology. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the Office of Elections website at elections.hawaii.gov shortly after the conclusion of this meeting. As a reminder to the public, your microphone will be muted until you're called upon. Okay, so now on the agenda we have,
Madam Chair,
yes,
I just got a message from Katie saying she's in the Zoom room, but in the waiting room. Could someone please let her in?
okay. Natalie, you want to do that?
Yes, Katie, could you please turn on your mic and audio? I mean, your video and audio, please, Katie. Thank you. We do have Katie in the room. I think she's probably trying to get her audio and video cameras on.
Okay. So now, let's see, we have on the agenda public testimony, and there's several paragraphs I have to read regarding that. Do we have any testifiers that have submitted written testimony?
No, no testimony ahead of the meeting, Chair.
Okay. As technical issues may arise, we will give each testifier a few moments to try and resolve any connection issues. However, if the issues cannot be resolved, we will have to move on to the next testifier. If you would like to testify, please click raise hand under reactions on Zoom. If you are joining us by phone, please press star 9. When recognized, please unmute your microphone before speaking. You may also turn on your video at that time. For the record, please state your first and last name and the items you will be testifying on. For those testifiers joining us by phone, we will not have your name and will be identifying you by the last 4 digits of your phone number. To ensure that we have sufficient time to hear all testimony, each testifier will have 3 minutes to testify. Once your time has expired, you will be asked to conclude your remarks. Okay, so do we have anybody waiting to say anything?
I don't see any raised hands, Chair.
Okay,
So no, there are no testifiers, Chair.
all right. So today we have several items to discuss. The first one has to do with the creation of a permitted interaction group to investigate development of a voter with special needs survey and related issues. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this one because as I understand it, as long as 2 of us, no more than 2 of us talk with each other at any one time, we don't need a pig. So when we get to the discussion on the survey, I have suggestions about how we can handle it very efficiently and comply with those rules. So let's not talk about that. Okay, at this point, we may need it for something else, but I think time is of the essence here. And I think we need to have maximum flexibility. And so what I'm suggesting when we get to the topic of the survey, that I draft something and circulate it to one person at a time, get their feedback, then circulate it to another person, then circulate, bring it up, whatever version we have at the end of these individual two-person conversations at the next meeting. Okay. The next item on the agenda is regarding a web page, your website. Is that okay? Can we do that? Natalie, can we have a web page that's labeled?
We currently have a web page that is specific for the Special Needs Advisory Committee on the Office of Elections website. So there is a specific page for you folks.
It's already there.
It's there. So that's where you can find the agenda, any meeting materials for the meeting, any information if you want to, for the meeting specific, we do have that page set up for the committee.
Okay. Could any of us post like some thoughts or observations on there if they want one or two? Or do we have to find that, do we have to give it to you and you put it up, or how's that work?
Yes, it would have to go through the Office of Elections because it's administered, the webmasters, I know the best name for them, but would have to go through them to post onto the website.
Okay, but we could give it to you and you would give it to them.
Yes, you would provide us the information and we'll coordinate.
Okay. Does anybody else have any observations on that topic? We can put that one to bed.
Gashel. So,
Yes.
so it's related to that, I guess. Do we have minutes of the previous meeting, or do we keep minutes? I know there's an audio recording, but are there actual written minutes?
There are no written minutes. There are written summaries for the video, but no written minutes.
It came up for me in thinking about what would be on the website. Share, I mean, just a suggestion, but it seems like we should have minutes.
It'd be easier for people. I'll tell you what, before we make a decision on that one, Jim, let me look and see what the video summaries look like.
Okay. Yeah.
Spend a lot of time stuff that is no interest to the public, I suspect.
Yeah.
So let me just take
I'm
a
good
look
with
at
that.
yeah.
I'm good.
No, I get your point, and I think a written summary of something is a good idea, and as long as it's useful, I'm all for it. So
at least something that lists the motions, because then we need to go back to this, and sometimes these motions would be aimed at the Office of Elections. So it gives us something official to cite that we took this, that, or another particular action.
Yes, for the written minutes, they are time-stamped, and we do include the motions made by the committee. So anyone who's viewing the written minutes can easily go back and find that in the video. So they are time-stamped.
what?
Katie
Oh,
Kime.
in the video. Okay.
Katie Kime.
Hi there, Katie.
Hi there. Patricia, I have one concern about that in the videos with the timestamps is those will not be fully accessible to people who are blind, because the way timestamps are often in videos, it wouldn't be text. So since we're an accessibility committee.
Right. Well, no, I think it's irregular not to have written minutes, and I'm all for written minutes. But when Natalie said there would be a written summary of the video, I thought, let me look at that and see whether if in fact what tends to be in the written summary of the video is the things we're most concerned about, keeping a record of what we voted on.
Correct. Correct.
then I think we're okay. And if not, then I think we have to have a secretary to take notes.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments or questions?
Oh, what, Gashel?
Yes, sir.
So I was going to suggest that on the web page, we put the relevant sections of the law that relates to special needs voters, not the entire voting by mail law. But so I think we were created by section 2 of Act 213 from the 2021 legislature. I think it was section 2. And then it'll come up later, but I distributed another section, section 22 of the same law that has to do with electronic transmission of ballots. So I think that at least those statutes and I can't think of anything else, but anyway, they should be put up on our website for a reference, or at least a link, so that people would know the statutory basis for what we're doing.
I think that's a good idea. Please tell me we don't have to do a motion on this, that it could just happen? Or do we have to have a motion? I mean, some things have to be done just because they make sense, not because, okay, so.
Oh,
Line
I have
can-
one. I think you can go ahead and do that.
What, just ask Nedline to make that happen, right? Or do we have to have a motion?
Well, either way, I think you can just ask her.
Nedline, would you be kind enough to put the relevant section of the statute on the webpage dealing with voters with special needs?
My apologies. I was on the phone with Cheryl Nelson. She was trying to get on. If you could please repeat that. I'm so sorry.
Okay, we would like to have the statute, the section of the statute that created this committee, the one dealing with electronic ballots. And was the third thing, Jim?
Well, I guess any other statutory references deemed to be important to voters with special needs. So
Right.
I didn't want to limit it.
It could be a link. It doesn't have to necessarily be, but the point is, you don't want to give somebody a link to a whole law. You want to give them a link to this part of the statute that is what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So one way or the other, we'd like people to have access to that information.
Yes.
And if you'd be kind enough to do that, that would be great.
Yes, we'll get that up on the webpage.
Great, great. Okay, any more?
Another suggestion. I believe there is a demonstration of the electronic format ballot, which Anthony referred to at our last meeting, and it may exist somewhere. It does exist somewhere on the Office of Elections webpage, where you can actually experience the electronic format ballot and how it works. And I would also suggest that either a link or the demonstration itself be placed on the Voters with Special Needs webpage.
Yes,
Okay.
we can do that.
That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. And we did all that without any motions.
Yay.
The key word is suggest. I think the key word is suggest.
Yes, okay, okay. Any more on the topic of the website or the web page, or can we move on to electronic voted ballot return process, which is the next item on our agenda? Okay, so now we're going to talk about the possible recommendations to the Office of Elections to include accessible voting options in future. Oops, I'm sorry, ahead of myself. Presentation and discussion on electronic voted ballot return process. So do we have somebody who is an expert on that topic going to talk to us today, or do we have to put that off?
We have just a flow of what the voter would expect when they receive an electronic ballot. I could share that with the committee.
Okay, but the issue is what happens to it when you get it back.
Okay.
You know, how's this, it's the return aspect. You know, I mean, what happens to it when it's returned?
So the voter will return, they have the option to return it electronically or by mail, and they would need to return it to their county elections office. It is the county elections office that would need to validate that they returned the voted ballot. And then once that has been validated and they've been marked as voted, then that ballot will be sent over to the counting center to be counted.
Okay, but you know, the point is somebody sends an electronic ballot and does the software know which, if they send it in electronically, does the software know where to send it? Which office to send it to?
Okay, yes. So the process is that the voter would need to, when they're done completing their ballot, they voted their ballot, it will be saved as a PDF of a ballot summary. So the voter would need to attach that PDF to an email that would be addressed to their county elections office. So it would, when the county elections office receives it, they would be retrieving the PDF of that ballot summary. And then after processing the return, then they would forward it on to the counting center for counting.
So how is the voter assured that their name is not identified with voting one way or another by the election office? You know, they send an email with a PDF in it, so they know, you know, the office knows that the person who sent in the ballot.
Yes. So there is an option. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
So when they do return their voted ballot summary, the PDF, they do have the option to also include a secrecy waiver or an electronic authentication. The electronic authentication is used to validate their identity. So they would have to go through the process of obtaining that. When the voter receives their email, they're provided with instructions how to obtain the electronic authentication. It's through a ballot portal site. Once they got onto that site, they would have to click on a link that will take them to a page. Well, they'll need to enter their first and last name, their date of birth, and the last 4 digits of their social security. If that information checks out with, again, social security and the statewide voter registration system, they will then be generated a affirmation statement saying that the statement would read that they are a voter with special needs that requested an electronic ballot. They've chosen to vote by means of electronic ballot and that does not include a requirement for handwritten signature or waiver of secrecy, that they're a resident and registered voter of that district, and that they voted without the personal assistance of an employer, agent of employer, or labor union, or a candidate. So that would be the electronic authentication that they would need to attach into the email along with their ballot summary. And then they would need to email it to their county elections office.
Okay, and when they get this electronic ballot, everything that they may do or must do is laid out, including who to email it back to.
That is correct. So they will be provided with instructions to they have the options of either emailing it, mailing it, or send it in by fax. And all the instructions would be on provided for them.
Okay, yeah. Is that voluminous information? I would think that would make it useful to be put on the webpage that we have for this committee as well.
Currently, are you asking for a demo or
No, but
it's written information to post on the website?
that's right. Yep.
Uh,
They want
we
to do,
could,
yeah.
yes, we could put that maybe like a how to vote, how to mark, how to return your ballot instructions on the website.
Okay. Go ahead, Mamoto. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I just, the most information that we can get out, the better. And if we put as much stuff as we can in one place, that'll give people a reason to spend time looking at what the committee is doing, and we will become a real resource to the disability community. Okay, I understood part of what you said, but not all of it. So you say, what do people have to do when they? They can mail an electronic ballot. So you're saying, what if they can't do an email? Okay, well, I mean, the point is, in Hawaii, we have the option of sending in a mailed-in ballot. So if you get your ballot mail in the middle of July for the primary, if you have somebody a friend that can help you fill it out, you can just mail that in and not mess around with the electronic ballot. Oh, you can't read it. Oh, okay. Well, I guess you have to have somebody read it to you. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense, to have somebody read it to you. Yeah. Yeah. I can't. Can you try one more time? Oh, if you're saying, well, somebody fills out the wrong place? The wrong place on the ballot? Well, can they, all right, you cannot read, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what you have to do is find someone you trust, number one, and have them read what the options are,
Yeah.
tell them which one you prefer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But the bottom line is you gotta have somebody that you trust. You
Yeah.
know? And that's true of anybody when they get somebody to help them on a confidential matter, you know?
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Jim.
Madam Chair, yeah, well,
Have you
this is a
had-
great,
have you-
this is a great discussion. It tells me that what we need on the Voters with Special Needs website is a pamphlet or flyer or something which very clearly and distinctly outlines the various options that a voter has for voting. Now, I'm just going to quickly tick them off as I understand them, but they each need some explanation. One is receive the ballot in the mail, mark the choices, sign the outside of the envelope, and return the ballot. That's one option. Two is the option that you were just discussing, which is receive the ballot in the mail, have a person of the voter's choice, not the voter's employer or the voter's union representative, return, mark the choices at the voter's instruction, and put the ballot in an ordinary envelope, mark or sign in some way the outside of the envelope, and return the ballot in the mail. That's choice two. Choice three that I would know of is register for and receive an electronic ballot, which you can handle on a computer. You can look at that ballot on the computer with any software you have that lets you read an HTML file. You can mark the choices. You can print out the ballot summary, and you can put that in an envelope, and you can sign the outside of an envelope and return it to the Office of Elections. That's the third option that I know of. The fourth option that I know of is receive an electronic ballot by mail, by computer, mark the choices, and then return that ballot electronically using one of two options. One is to print and sign a secrecy waiver, which would have to be returned with the electronic ballot, so you'd have two attachments. That would be one option for returning an electronic ballot. And the second one would be to, again, receive the electronic ballot, mark all the choices, and then go to the authentication webpage that Netherland mentioned, and put in your name, your address, your social security, the last four digits of your social, and you would receive an authentication document, which you would attach to a file along with your ballot and return it to the election office. Those are the options that I know of. And I don't know of any, no, I've said them all. I don't know of anywhere that the Office of Elections has a clear explication of those options in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever number it is, list like that. And I'd like to see it.
Okay, I think that'd be a great idea. Again, I am for putting everything on our webpage once it exists, so that, you know, people have one place they can go and find things they're interested in. Okay, great. I'm glad you agree. All right. Reese, do we have to make this into a motion, or can we just ask Nedline to pass it along to her colleagues and the Office of Elections to do it?
No, I think this is the purpose of this committee and the meetings, is to make recommendations. I think.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how, Nedline, if you're going to collect everything or periodically report back to the office, but it is it's something we don't need to do the motion for. We can just
Okay.
request.
Yeah. Because I mean, the point is, I'm assuming that descriptions and documentation already exist. So we're talking about a cutting and pasting function and putting all this stuff in one document and labeling it so people know what it is. It's not creating new material. I mean, brand new material. So in terms of effort, it's not a big effort. An important effort, yes, but it's not like you're starting from scratch. Yeah. Oh, you're making a motion, okay? That this happens, okay? So I'll second that motion. Any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote.
If I could we maybe articulate the motion just so it's clear that now that we're going down the motion path? I mean,
Okay.
if you want to clarify.
Okay. All right. Rotundo made a motion that that the 5 points that Jim Gashel made in this video, dealing with providing a description in one place of all the different voting options a person with special needs has, would be prepared and placed on our webpage.
Do we have a second?
Katie Kime seconds.
We'll take the vote. Okay, Ramota Anand, James Gashel,
Aye.
Catherine Kime,
Aye.
Patricia Morrissey,
Aye.
Cheryl Nelson. Okay. The motion passes, Chair.
Okay. Fantastic.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
could we now engage in a discussion about the return options? I mean, I don't mean the return options. I mean the electronic return as Netherland had outlined it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. The way I understand the law, and I did distribute this section. It was sent to all the committee members by email this morning. And this is section 22 of Act 213, passed by the legislature in 2021. So this is the first election to which this section applies. And this section requires that a voter with special needs may vote using an electronic ballot, and that the marked electronic ballot may be returned without the voter being required to sign a waiver of secrecy or any other thing, that basically that there be a means of electronic authentication. Okay, so not being a lawyer, to me, it looks like the process that has been created, which is going to a website and entering your registration info so you can be identified, it just looks to me like this does meet the requirements of the statute. And so the voter with special needs would be identified, and you'd receive some kind of an authentication document, which would say to the county election office, I guess, that this voter is authorized to return the electronic ballot. So I think that's fine. And the voter does not have to sign anything. The voter doesn't have to sign anything, which is what we were trying to get to. My major point of pushback on this would be hoping for a simpler process. And I'm not an electronic expert by any means, but it does seem to me that if the voter went to a web page and entered all the information that was required, just as Netherland outlined, that whatever information is generated from that could automatically go to the office to which the ballot goes to, and that the voter would not be required to go through the process of, I guess, downloading and attaching another file, the only attachment being the voter's voted ballot. But this process puts it all on the voter to create two attachments, one being the voter's ballot, and the second one being the authentication document. And I would like to see, and I'd like to, we haven't seen the process, but it seems overly complex. And in this electronic age, it seems to me it doesn't need to be this complex. And
my reaction was a little bit different than yours, but with the
Okay.
same desire for the outcome, simplicity. And that is, since you have to request an electronic ballot in the first place, you must have to send in something that says you're entitled to an electronic ballot. So at the front end, you're telling them, I'm a legitimate voter and I want an electronic ballot. Thank you. Amen. And that's all they need. Why do they need it again?
That's a really good point. You do have to register to receive the electronic ballot.
That's right.
And
They know you're a Hawaiian voter.
Now,
So
they do. I'm sure there are voter security people, Madam Chair, that would tell us that they need to go through some kind of an exercise, but I'm altogether with you. I'm not sure why we have to have this special authentication website.
I guess what they figure is that, okay, you send a registered voter an electronic ballot, and then they somehow give it to somebody else and let them vote, or make copies of it and send it to a whole bunch of people and give 10 votes. Who knows? I don't know what the hell. I mean, maybe that's the issue.
Now it clearly has to come back from the email address that they sent it to, or I would think they have it sent up that way. So in other words, if they send it,
I think the point is that what they could do is, when the person requests a ballot and they're a legitimate voter and they get the ballot, that ballot will have a number like ballot 1500 or something. And so they can only accept one reply with the ballot 1500. And therefore, if any more came in, they would be considered invalid, right? Yeah, I think, yeah. So I think the thing that we need to encourage the office of election to do is to do something in the front end that helps them create a tracking mechanism for the fact that this thing went out and it only came back one time. And it does-
Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed. You
And-
are totally on it.
And it doesn't require a person to do this extra stuff at the end.
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
So again, not knowing how we communicate recommendations, maybe I'll take Ramada's approach and make what the chair just said as a move, that what the chair just said is a recommendation of the advisory committee.
Okay, I second it.
Good.
Reese, do you want me to say it again?
I think you, for the
I like
benefit of Medlin, I'm
Oh,
just want
okay.
her to be able to get the recommendations accurately.
Okay, all right. The idea is that when a person requests electronic ballot, Jim made a motion that a person requests electronic ballot. At that point in time, they have to provide verification that they are a legitimate voter in Hawaii. And when the office election sends the ballot back, that ballot has some type of tracking mechanism connected to it that allows it to be identified and not duplicated. And that persons with special needs, or anybody, I guess, who requests a special ballot,
No, no, only
not be-
person.
not be obligated to do that authentication process.
Yeah, Madam Chair, only persons with special needs
Oh,
who this is what the law says. Only
Okay.
person, and
But
you
who-
have to be able to say that you, due to a disability, you are unable to read and use the printed ballot. So, yeah, so what you've said is correct, except you
Okay.
can't just be any voter in Hawaii.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
all right. Thank you for the clarification. So that has to be recognized as only persons with special voter needs. And I think you have everything else. Okay, now we need to vote. Madeline.
Ramoda Anand,
Yeah.
James Gashel,
Aye.
Catherine Keim,
Aye.
Patricia Morrissey,
Aye.
and Kate. The motion passes, Chair.
Okay, fantastic. And now we're on to item number, last item, right? No, we have two more. Okay, the next one is discussion and possible recommendations to the office elections to include accessible voting options in future elections, marketing and education materials. I listened to I guess commercial or public announcement on TV from the office of elections over the weekend. Actually, it was on TuneIn, and it was great. It was talked about the primary coming up, but there was no mention at all of the word, phrase accessibility, or, if you have any questions. So I think the point that we're after, and I don't know whether we need a motion to this effect, but every message that goes out from now on would have some reference to, if you have accessibility issues, contact us. We provide accessibility in the entire voting process, something like that, in every marketing thing. Okay. Okay, wait, try it again. I'm not sure. Are you saying, wait, let's try this. Let me ask you a question. Are you saying you want to add something to it? No, okay, you want to make a motion on this?
Yeah,
Okay. Got it. All right. So Jim, you're better at phrasing these things. Why don't you?
Oh,
Thank
okay, okay. I have an idea. You're
Okay.
very good at phrasing. I'm not sure, but here. Actually, I thought we sort
already
of
did.
made this motion at the last meeting, but apparently we had to discuss it and then bring, yeah, what?
Yeah, you're right. We had to bring
Okay,
it-
but anyway, we are where we are. So I move that we recommend to the Office of Elections that all marketing messages designed for the upcoming and future elections include a reference to accessible voting options for persons with disabilities. Go to link. And link being the web page that we have designed earlier.
Okay,
And at least that now, and included in the motion is that announcements relating, more extensive announcements relating to accessible voting options for persons with disabilities also be distributed, period.
okay, so any general announcements will at least make a reference to accessibility in some way. And number two is we also have special messages that deal exclusively with issues connected to accessibility. Okay, great.
Correct.
All right. And so that's kind of Rotundo's motion. It was his
Correct.
motion, but
It
Jim,
is his motion. It's his motion.
it's his motion, but we paused it a little bit.
And I'll
Okay,
second it. I'll second it.
okay. Just come in. Hold on a second. I gotta deal with my painters. Yes, sir.
Sorry, do you want us to paint that one right now?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Oh, God. All right. One more time. You want, Wait. hey, let me try it this way, Latono. Are you bringing up a new issue or are you talking about the motion we're dealing with right now? Is it new?
No, I agree with the lawyer. I agree with the lawyer.
Oh, you agree with it? Okay, you agree with the motion. Okay, let's take care of this motion. If you have a second issue, let's wait until we get rid of it, finish with this one first, okay? Okay?
Yeah.
All right, great. Thank you. All right, so you can take the roll call, the vote now.
Okay.
Natalie.
Ramota Anand,
Yeah.
James Gashel,
Aye.
Catherine Kime,
Aye.
Patricia Morrissey.
Aye.
Okay, The motion passes.
Okay, now, I'd like to go on to the last time. It won't take that much time because I got a very efficient way of dealing with it. Okay, that is the discussion of possible recommendations that oh no, it's marketing materials. Where's the one where we were gonna deal with the survey? Is that in here?
Oh, yeah, earlier.
That was at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. So, all right, I'd like to go back to that one then. Here's what I suggest we do. Jim shared with me and then Ned Lyons shared with everybody the survey done by the Hawaii Federation for the Blind. And it's very, the information is very important, but it will be very laborious to capture it and bring it back in. And since we have a primary coming up in the middle of August, I think the 13th, here's what I suggest. I am going to try thinking about and using Jim's document. I'm going to do either a binary or a multiple choice questionnaire of about 10 questions, maybe not even 10, maybe 5.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna talk to him about it, talk to everybody else in the committee about one at a time. So only 2 people are talking at any
Message.
one time.
Slide to answer. Message. Message. Slide to remind me. Mobile. John Paré. John Paré.
And so, so by the time we next talk, I will have input from everybody and a final version that we can talk about at our next meeting. And I would like to suggest that everybody give me 2 weeks to pull this off. So we would do it like the middle, say, whatever the second 2 Fridays from now. I'd have a nice clean draft based on all your input, talking to only one person at a time. And then we would discuss it and agree to it and whatever. Now, in the meantime, I think I am not, I know a lot of people in the disability community in Hawaii, but I'm not really affiliated that closely with associations. We need, for the rest of you, including the people at the opposite elections, to start identifying some people we can reach out to once we have a draft, once we have a final version of this thing, and get them to distribute it really quickly and get it back to us. And they can, and then once it comes back, we can see what kind of comments we get. Here's the way I view this. This is a very hairy thing to be doing at this point, all right? We really need it for the fall, for November. But it's a pilot test, the way I see it. If we get a lot of enthusiasm, we get a lot of input, then we kind of can refine it and put it out again, say after Labor Day. And by this time, we will have made connections with people. My goal would be that we would get somewhere between 25 and 50 responses from somebody. We only need adult associations of people with disabilities that are adults. We don't need, but even high school kids, we need high school kids.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you who I know. I'm gonna reach out to Daintree, to Susan Rocco with the Spin, and I'm on the board of LADA. And I will even deal with talking to the commissioner at rehab, here in Hawaii. Okay, so I will make a commitment now to reach out to those 4 and get the contact information and say to them, when you get this survey, what we want you to do is send it out as fast as you can to 10 people or 15 people or whatever. Now, okay, that's the idea. Now, the other part of this is obviously when we get it back, we have to have somebody tally it. Now, one way to avoid all that is to use SurveyMonkey. So my question to Reese and to Nedline is, does the Hawaiian state government allow a, gubernatorial committee to use SurveyMonkey to do surveys?
I honestly can't say yes or no to that specific question. And, especially since it's a specific vendor.
Right. Well,
I mean, I
I
would,
don't- hey, I don't care. Hey, the way I feel, Reese, I don't care. I don't know how to do SurveyMonkey. I would explore how to do it, so I would do it. But the point is, or set it up. But I would prefer if somebody in, the Office of Elections or in state government could take the product of a survey and then send it out to whoever the people are that we tell them to send it out to. But the probability of somebody in state government doing that within, a matter of weeks is probably unrealistic, right?
yeah, and I think also what you have to consider is that, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head again, and it's not necessarily legal, but advice, but it's, you have to also consider the cost, and whether we have the money for it, or is it part of the budget?
Well, okay, we're talking about, well, nobody's talked to us about budget. We don't even,
yeah.
know.
I know, yeah.
I even talked to Senator Rose about budget. He said, don't worry about that. That's what he said to me. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
The Office of Election will take care of you. That's what he said. So,
So,
my, I want to do this in a way. I'm not suggesting that we survey 20,000, I'm suggesting that we try to get some input from the public. And I see this as a way to increase the visibility of the committee. This is like the first move kind of, and information.
it could, oh, I'm sorry. Was I interrupting? I'm sorry.
I don't know. But Tondo,
Okay.
did you have a question?
No,
I don't think he did.
Okay.
I think-
I mean, I don't know. It's a, sort of an operational problem too. And it's something, resource wise,
yeah.
I would
Well, I'll
defer to the Office of Elections to see if they can inquire about that, but
We
Okay.
could inquire about that if that's what the committee
Yeah.
is recommending.
Yeah,
We're
not looking for something expensive at this point. We're just looking at a way, and if it could all be done, like, if you guys are saying, wait a second, it's gonna take us 6 weeks to figure out how much money we can really spend on this committee, then what I'm saying to you, this is so important to me that I would do the survey. I would set SurveyMonkey and do the survey, pay for it, and give everybody the results, just so we can do it. I mean, it's ridiculous because we need to have some input before the primary. And we definitely need to have a survey that could go out right after the election, if not before, in the fall.
Yeah, Gashel here.
Go ahead.
So, I've done things on SurveyMonkey and it worked fine. And I think their website is accessible, which is a good feature from our point of view. Now, I don't know anything about cost. I think if your survey is small enough, there probably is no or very minimal. And so I guess this would be up to the Office of Elections to explore. But to me, I think we should go ahead and do it. We have a compelling need to get a survey out there. And,
Yeah.
and I, I don't think the cost, if any, is going to break the bank of the Office of Elections. And if they think it does, I guess they can tell us.
Okay, well, I think we got to give them a motion here. So,
I'll just move what I just said.
okay, I second it.
So we'll take the vote. Ramona Anand,
Aye.
James Gashel,
Aye.
Catherine Kime. Oh, Catherine, you're on mute.
Aye. Still
Patricia
muted?
Morrissey,
Aye.
motion passes, Chair.
Oh, fantastic. We're making progress here.
Sorry, James, could you just make that motion one more time for the record?
I
so that we
move.
have it?
Thank you. I move that we conduct a survey of voters with special needs aimed at the upcoming primary election, and that this survey be distributed via SurveyMonkey or a similar accessible means, period.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to confirm we got that correct. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, I want everybody on this committee to get back to me with like 4 organizations that could be included on the list that we contact once we have the survey. So I told you who I would contact. I'll also contact Hawaii Disability Rights Center too. So
Sure. Yeah.
let's get them in the loop. Now we have one other category on our agenda, which I'd like to bring up a topic. And that is, I think the importance of our success and credibility is tied to whether we do or we don't do things and how fast we do them and how well we do them. And I think it would make a lot of sense to set up in the fall, maybe through Zoom, because I think it's easier, opportunities on different islands to talk to voters with special needs, have a focus group on Zoom. I would say maybe 10 people, on the Kauai and Molokai. That would be one. Maui would be another. The Big Island would be a third, and then a fourth one on Hawaii. So 4 Zoom focus groups where we share with people what we learned about the survey, from the survey, and just talk to them about their voting experience in after the election.
Madam Chair, this is Katie.
Yes.
I think that's a great idea. A motion needs to be made. I can follow through with that. But one point I wanted to bring up is that not all the counties yet have their advisory committees specific to special needs, voting with special needs. But I know that every county has started that implementation, and I believe Kauai is very active right now. And we might want to reach out to.
Every island has their own voter.
Well,
Gashel.
Go ahead.
Well, separately, Madam Chair, I completely endorse what you just said, but we definitely want to bring in the County Special Needs Advisory Committee. So Oahu had their meeting yesterday, I think, for their first meeting, and Kauai has so yes, what Katie just said, every county has a special needs advisory committee in addition to the state one. And yeah, so but we want to bring those county committees into what we're talking about here.
That's right.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to do.
And that was my point. Thank you, Mr. Gash.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So maybe what we need to do is this. We need to set up between now and the election conversations at least one conversation, maybe two conversations with the county committees via Zoom. And then work with them to have focus groups with them on their respective islands after the election with their consumers.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. So, all
To
right,
set something up like that, I'm assuming we need a motion, thus I
Yeah.
make that motion and can re-articulate it if needed.
okay, sure. Go right
So-
ahead.
So my understanding in my head, and bear with me on this, I'm a little bit jet lag. I've just flown through the night, but I'm with you all. Is that we have prior the upcoming primary and general elections, a meeting together with each of the county special needs voting committees, and then post the elections that we set up focus groups on every county island, which includes those committees as well as their consumers for the purpose
Right.
of this survey.
Right. So it's a
Gashel, for a question.
joint thing, yeah.
Well, do you mean after the November election, or do you mean like after the primary election, or what do you
No,
mean?
I think it's, it'd be too ambitious for us to do everything before the primary
Yeah,
or before the election. I mean, it's too frenetic. We're going to be around for 5 years, I think.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
we want to know
Well,
what type of experiences people had in the November election, and that will shape what we do after that.
okay, so this is after both elections.
Yeah.
Yet
Got
Yet
it.
I understood that we reach out to them as the statewide committee to each of the counties prior, just to touch
Prior-
bases.
Prior
Only
to prior
prior
to and maybe have
November.
a conversation with them. We could have,
Mhm,
I don't know why we couldn't have a conversation with all the committees at once. I mean, their chair could talk about what they're focusing on, or what the biggest issue is. But we could have one meeting before the November election with all the committees via Zoom. And then after the election, we work with them individually to have meetings with their constituents to talk about their experiences and to learn how they went. I mean, it may be that this state is in great shape because 99% of people use mail-in ballots, they don't have issues, and the world goes on. But we need to know that.
So
and
I second the motion.
Okay. All right. So now we need a vote.
Pramod Anand,
Yeah, I,
James Gashel,
Aye.
Catherine Kime,
Aye.
Patricia Morrissey.
Aye.
The motion passes, Chair.
Great. Okay. Does anybody else have any brilliant ideas they want to float?
yeah, at least, do all that we can to help people. Do all that we can to help people at least who cannot leave. We do all that we can for people who cannot leave. We do all that we can for people at least.
Are you saying how can we help the people who can't read?
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
yeah.
Do you,
Okay. Well,
I
I
have a-
know we're
I'm
working on
sorry,
that. I mean,
Gashel?
Katie,
Go ahead, Jim. Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, so you're talking to one of them right here,
Right.
Romano. And so, again, I'm gonna refer you to the accessible options list that we're going to put on the website pursuant to, I think it might have been your motion that I phrased. And so, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What I'm picking up is what are we gonna do last? But I know that's not right. So,
Yeah,
oh, what, it is right?
yeah.
Okay. What do you mean? What are we? Oh, we're almost finished, if that's what you mean.
Oh, going to
Katie
the next
Khan.
point. Oh, okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Katie Khan.
Go ahead.
And I know you made this request, Patricia, so it can be added and but there are communities in the islands of consumers with print disabilities, reading disabilities, and there are literacy organizations. I'm not sure of all of them, but maybe Romano, you are familiar with some of those for different reasons. People can't read, but they could be reached out to as part of our list of
Sure. Sure.
groups.
I like everybody to send me
Mhm.
like 5 organizations that they think we should contact
Mhm.
for our survey. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, no problem.
I'll
Got
give you
it.
my email again real fast. PATMOR is Pat Moore at AOL.com. PATMOR.
Chair, I
AOL.
could provide the contact information to all the board members.
Okay, great. Yeah, that was wonderful. Wonderful.
Wasn't that on one of the attachments? I thought I saw that.
Yes,
Madeline.
I can resend it to everyone
Okay.
after the meeting.
Okay, so go ahead. Yeah, I think it was sent already, but it's great that Netherlands sent it again. Okay, so we've covered a lot today, and it's now almost 11:20. So, are there any other issues?
Madam Chair, do we have a next date or should that be discussed? How is that set?
But hoping 2 Fridays from now at 10 o'clock, whatever that day is.
2 Fridays from now.
Yeah, 14 days.
Mhm.
But July 14 or 15, something like that.
Mhm.
You can't do it on that Friday. Okay. So how about wait, let me get my calendar up and then I'll throw out some possibilities.
Chair, I do want to note that staff for the Office of Elections are being committed to operations for running the election. So if you provide us with some dates, we will take a look at the calendar as well. Because we've
sure.
been-
When I meant that, the point is we want to get the survey out and back
Okay,
before 13th. That would be the goal, that of August when the primary is. So and obviously I want everybody who ideally all of us to be involved. Okay, so let's throw out possible dates and everybody let Netherline know if you can make it. We'll stick at a 10 a.m. time and we'll look at the week of July 18th and we'll look at Monday, the 18th, Tuesday, the 19th, and Wednesday, the 20th at 10 a.m. So everybody should let Natalie know if they can make one or all those dates.
Can close, I can look.
You can't make any of those dates?
No,
No, you can't make them. Okay. Okay,
Chair, we can work with the committee. I'll work with the committee to go and schedule some dates. So
yeah, you can get, Doodle, calendar, Doodle app. You can use that.
yes, I can work with the committee members and
Okay.
I'll get a date to everyone.
Okay, I think it's important that if we're gonna get it out, we gotta get it out before the end of July. Get the survey out before the end of July. Definitely.
I can do Tuesday. I can do Tuesday.
You can do Thursday that week, Tuesday of that week. Oh, okay,
Oh, 19.
okay.
So I think he's saying the 19th, huh?
19th, okay. How about everybody else? Can you do the 19th? Well,
I can do 19.
okay, yeah. I tell you what, I'm flexible. My company's not coming till later, so I'm good. Nederland, you can check with everybody to confirm that the 19th works for your office, as well as you can't do the 19th. Okay, well, I think Nederland's going to deal with everybody individually.
Yes, I will work with everyone offline to schedule,
She can
to
write
get
you
everyone's availability.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, I know you say you can't do Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Wednesday? All right, let Nadine call you and work it out, okay? Whatever day you're available, the rest of us will work around it, all right? So you let Phil send you an email and you can deal with it that way. We don't have to solve it now. Okay. All right. Okay, good. Good.
Madam Chair, I move to adjourn if that's next on the agenda.
Oh, I think that's fantastic. I'd like to vote twice for that one. Okay, thank you, everybody. And we don't need a roll call vote on that. The meeting is now adjourned and I will see you sometime in mid-July. And I think we had a very efficient discussion and Reese didn't give us a hard time. And
I try not to.
and so we must be learning the ropes. And I have learned that on this committee, I have the ability to set the agenda if I want to, and just let everybody know about it. And ask them issues. So you might see that happening as well. But I think the big thing for us to resolve at our next conversation is to finalize the survey. So I think we can put everything else off until we take care of that. But thank you all and have a great 4th and enjoy the sound of the fireworks, you guys who can't see.
Amen.
Amen. Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
Okay.
Take care.
Aloha.
Thank
Bye.
you.